Here we are again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Marina Nani from W.O.R.K.S, co-hosting with my favorite host, Adrienne Marks. Over to you, Adrienne.
Hello, Marina, and welcome. Yes, another week's gone. It's now early March, and yes, it's just lovely to be here and talking to you again.
It's one of those days when you mentioned. Let's talk about the comfort zone. I was just thinking, because this is what I never shared with you. Each time you say something, is something I just thought about, which is almost like a
Amazing.
divine connection.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking that actually somebody challenged me today to help them to volunteer for their cause. And I wasn't very much into it, and I don't really have the time. But I said, well, if this takes me out of my comfort zone, I will do it. So when you said comfort zone, I thought, oh my God, this is already a bit
That's
too much.
amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So obviously,
So
I'm
yeah, so we want to see actually what is your view on just going out of the comfort zone. I know most people will think comfort zone, what's that? Doesn't exist, because you are not comfortable at all. But what is the definition of comfort zone for you, Adrian?
well, it's it's literally what it says. It's the comfort. It's being. It doesn't matter how bad things are, but you'd rather be in that place than trying something new or doing something new. And so it's very uncomfortable to get out and do stuff. And so people tend to not live to their true potential because they see things, and they look at their life and maybe their health, maybe their relationships, whatever it is, and they think it's not working the way I want it to. It's not as good as I want it to be. But to do something about it is very difficult. So they would rather stay with the status quo if it's say you're in a job that you absolutely hate. And I a long time ago, this was very much me, in a job that I totally hated. Um, because the people were horrible and it was just awful. But because they paid me a reasonable salary, I stayed there. And every morning I used to go in and I used to literally drag my feet along to go to the office. I hated it. I was so unhappy, but it was scary and horrible to do something else. So I stayed there. And in the end, what happened, and this is what usually happens to people, you go along in this awful state, putting up with second best, putting up with whatever's going on, rather than taking action, because taking action is uncomfortable. And then something usually happens. And what happened to me was I had an accident. I fell backwards down my stairs at home, which was pretty horrible, and fractured my pelvis. So I ended up being bedridden. I couldn't get out. And in the meantime, this horrible company went into liquidation, and they were taken over by another company. And the company that took them over decided that they really didn't want me anymore. But they were so mean and horrible. They put all these things in place that meant that I had to really fight them. And all they wanted me to do was say, oh, I'm going to leave. But I wouldn't do that. And so in the end, they made me redundant. And the whole thing was horrible. But the example is that usually what happens, you're so unhappy in what you're doing, in the relationship, in the way your body feels, in my case, in the job. But it's easier to stay in that space, to stay there, because it's what happens sort of logically in our brain? We've got this thing. I don't know if I've talked about this before. We've got this thing, and it's like a thermostat. And basically, what this thermostat does, I mean, you know how a thermostat works, you know, when a room temperature, if you set the temperature for whatever temperature, and then somebody comes in and opens the window, if it's warm outside, the temperature will rise, and the thermostat works really hard to bring the temperature back to an even keel. And the same thing if the window's open and it's cold, it gets really cold in the room. And so exactly the same thing that happened. The thermostat works really, really hard to get it up to that temperature, so it's on an even keel. And this is what we've got, this thing in our brain, and it's like a thermostat. And what it does is it keeps you safe. Its job is to keep you safe, whether things are good, bad, or absolutely indifferent. And it doesn't help you because of the thoughts that you've put in there. So it believes that it's keeping you safe. And so what will happen is, you know, in my case, because I hated the job, the idea of getting another job. So I went out looking for other jobs, and I sent some emails out, and I went to a few interviews. But what happened was that it didn't sort of, it wasn't working. You know, I would get, you know, I wouldn't, some places I wouldn't even get an interview. Some places I'd go for an interview and then I'd never see them again. And people around me were saying to me, oh, why do you want to leave? It's a really good job. You know, you get paid very well. And so you start believing what outside influences tell you. And so what was then happening to me, my thermostat, which was set at a certain temperature, was going, oh, this is too uncomfortable. I don't like this. I'll stay where I am. So I said, it's not that bad. I'll stay where I am. And so it pulled me back into my comfort zone, because as horrible as it was, I knew the people, I knew what to expect. I was earning a different salary, and I didn't have to put myself out there. So I didn't challenge myself. And then a short while later, I tried again. But memory said that I was not having a good time, and I was very uncomfortable when I went to get, so I didn't try as hard this time. I maybe only did a couple of emails out to people, and then when they didn't reply, it was like, oh, okay, fine, I won't bother anymore. And so gradually you get stuck in this literally in this rut, and you dig yourself this little hole and you stay there because it is comfortable. And that, you know, that's your comfort zone. And it was only after I got made redundant from there that I started sort of realizing the time that I'd wasted. And, you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And now I look back and I go, oh, if only I'd done such and such. But, you know, you can't do that. And it is very brave to sort of go off and step out of your comfort zone, because it isn't nice. It doesn't make you feel good, but the end result is worth it, because we've only got one life, and we can't live on regrets. You know, they say you only regret things in life that you don't do. And I don't know about you, Marina, but I've got a whole wad of regrets there of stuff that I didn't do. But what I make sure I do now is that I put myself out there. And if I try something and it doesn't work, then okay, it's like, you know, wasn't it Edison who said something about, you know, it wasn't, I didn't have 1,000 failures. I had 1,000 ways of finding out how the light bulb didn't work, because the 1,001 time it did work. And that's the thing. You've got, the only way you can live to your true potential, to really sort of enjoy your life and to be the best you can be every single day, is to push yourself out there. And sometimes, as I say, it's not nice, it's horrible. And you think, why do I have to do this? Well, you know, unless your life is a bowl of cherries, and let's face it, most people's lives aren't like that. You know, we all have good days, we all have bad days, and when the good days are great, you think, oh, you know, life is fine, I don't have to do anything about it. But then when you have a bad day, you think, oh, I should have done something about it like last week. So every day you've got to think to yourself, what can I do today to move my life forward just a little bit? Because I believe that the best things that we want are outside our comfort zone, that we have to keep pushing ourselves and challenging ourselves to be the best we can be. And I'm not saying you've just got to keep striving and fighting the whole time. What I'm saying is when you learn what you really want and what makes you really happy, then life isn't a struggle, and you find that things happen naturally. You're not fighting, you're not beating your head against a brick wall. You're doing this gently, and it's like you're going with the flow. It's like my old thing about the sat nav. You know, if you're in the car and the sat nav says go left and you go, no, I know the way, I'm going to go right, and you go right and you get lost. But if you'd listened to the sat nav and gone left and just, you know, smelt the roses and smelt the coffee and just gone on that way, on that journey, you might have found all sorts of things. It might not have been what you set out to do, but it might be something, because sometimes things turn up in a very strange way for us, and you think, oh, that wasn't quite what I was expecting, but that's what I asked for, that's what I wanted. And so you have to be very, very clear on your destination, on your goals, but you just have to go with the flow, and that way you're moving all the time and you are stepping outside your comfort zone, and it just makes you feel good. If you come home of an evening and you sit down and you go, do you know what, I had a really good day today, this is what I did, I actually pushed myself out there, I did this, I did that. And it's, whoa, you know, because I think that even people that are at the top of their game always strive for more. It's like an athlete. An athlete might win a gold medal, but he's not going to stop practicing just because he's won a gold medal. He wants to be the best in the next tournament. It's the same with, you know, with golfers, any sporting people, anybody that's on stage, any actor. It doesn't matter, you know, they might have just, as they did, didn't they, recently, this weekend, the Oscars, you know, and people are getting awards. That doesn't mean to say that for the next part that they're in, the next movie that they're in, they're going to be less. They'll be, you know, even better, because it's like, you know,
definitely there will be more. And talking about this, you just made me think about something that happened to me recently. So when you receive an award, is not comfortable at all. Because my first question that hit me at the time was, oh my God, what they expect from me now? And from what you are saying, I understand that, and I relate to my own experience as well. As I started my journey by simply trading my to-do list with my to-be list. And while I was able to deliver anything on a to-do list, I had no idea how to even start a to-be list. So, but I realized that I'm not a human being. As long as I'm not being, you know, so to be a human being, it's logical. You have to be before you do. You are not a doing being. So of course, the largest fear is the gate, the door, the secret code to your greatest growth. And you're right, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So once you leave your comfort zone is when everything started, when the magic happens. And if you are to think back, would you say that if you want to be somebody you never been before. You have to be somebody you never thought of being or doing before. So if you want something new, to be somebody you never been, the person that you never had the courage to be, and go out of your comfort zone, change your friends, change your environment, change jobs, change relationships, change your own thinking, the way you look at yourself in a mirror in the morning, and trade that for your vision, for your dream, for the one you could be, then is a start. But then, as you said, could happen that you'll feel overwhelmed because you don't have any practice. You don't know how to deal with the to be more. Or so what's happening is perhaps you could go back and retract and lose everything you've been growing. It's like a seed start coming to the soil in the spring, and then you kill it. So I think the secret is to have a practice, and to have like the athletes do, to have a goal to do each day something which is out of your comfort zone, like you did. That's why you managed to come out and you become this beautiful, wonderful awareness coach. So you have to be aware first that there is room for you to trade your to-do list for your to-be list. Then leave your comfort zone behind because you want something you never had before. So it's logic to accept that you are going to be somebody you never been before, and do it gradually and do it daily, and embrace each challenge is an opportunity. It's not just somebody's not calling you up, offering you an award, or even asking for help just because they need to make conversation. They need you. They been attracted to you. They know you can deliver more. So it's all to do with looking at the world with a different pair of eyes. And the way you teach me time, and the way you allow yourself to become aware of your own powers, is the way you handle challenges, and the way you could exit the comfort zone and go into the greatness zone. So like you said, I really think and I really believe that it's a personal choice and is available to every single one of our listeners.
Absolutely. And
yes,
you said two things. Becoming aware of your own power. That is so amazing. I was going to say powerful, but it is. It's just exactly that. And I think once people realize how much there is inside them, there isn't, I always say it, you become unstoppable once you realize who you can actually be. Then the world becomes this amazing place for you. And so you need to become aware of that. And you're absolutely right. We're human beings, not human doings. And we're always, rush, 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 rush. And you said it, the thing is, when you get overwhelmed with stuff, if you're doing too much and it's like, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, blah, 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 blah. And then what you need to be doing is take a deep breath and just get very quiet. Just go and just take a deep breath and sit quietly for 5-10 minutes and just listen to your thoughts and just quieten yourself down. I don't know if I've said this to you before, Marina, but sometimes when I go to sleep, if there's too much going on, I sleep on my back, and I literally say to myself, shh, and to quieten myself down, because sometimes there's so much going on, and I just think, hold on a second, I need to get some sleep here, and I'm like, shush, shush, like you would to a child. It's okay, tomorrow's another day, Scarlett. You can be quiet now. And that's how I go to sleep. But not.
So if you make a note, if you write down on a piece of paper in the evening, to do list for today, I must leave my comfort zone. And you go to bed with that thought. This is what I do personally. You go today to bed thinking that it's make or break. And you know what I discover about this comfort zone, because I'm doing something, then I leave the comfort zone, I go into the next challenge, and I become comfortable with the new level of challenge, and that becomes my comfort zone. And then I leave that again because another challenge, and the magic happens all the time, almost each day. So there are layers of comfort zones. As you grow, they grow, and you become a resident of a magic zone where you are in control. You decide when to enter a new zone, a challenge, and when to leave it because it's too comfortable for you. And if I think of myself, when I bought my first property, I had no idea what to do. I was almost shaking and thinking, oh my God, what I'm doing. The lawyer was giving me the keys and she was congratulating me. But to me was, what do I do now? You know, I was lost. So of course, it's long years ago. And since I bought and sold and hundreds of properties. So now to me, it's like, I can do it in my sleep. That's not challenging. So perhaps that's why I challenge myself into finding my life mission and finding my purpose, and deciding that the secret of living your life with purpose is sharing, and sharing everything I know and everything I understand the way I understand it. And tomorrow I'll get better. I'm work in progress. And I'm not even consumed by the fear, oh my God, they won't understand what I'm talking about. Oh my God, what they're going to say. I really don't care. You know, I know I have to share. And I can't rest unless I share. And even sometimes there are certain things you should not share unless they already happened, because that's the business world for you. And it's not because I'm a woman, or somebody said today that asking what is your challenge as a businesswoman. And I thought, there is no challenge. So what's that to do with anything? The fact that I'm a woman, or I'm young, or I'm old, or whatever it is, what's that to do with anything?
Exactly.
It doesn't, if you don't mind, doesn't matter. It's your mind that is ready or not ready. So I think it's the same for each time you step outside your comfort zone, going into the magic. If your mind, as you explained it so beautifully, allows you to walk tall and confident, you'll make it. But if you feel that you are not ready and you won't do it, if you feel you are not ready and you'll do it, it's okay. But if you feel you are not ready and won't do it, that's the end of it.
Yes,
so you'll confine yourself to the walls of your old yourself, without giving you the chance to become your new self, you know, your better self.
Exactly. And it's funny you talk about, you know, the gender thing, and it shouldn't matter, as you say, whether you're young, old, whatever. It really shouldn't matter. And in fact, I was reading something today, and it was about the, you know, the American primaries and the candidates and all sorts of things. And I won't go into all the things that I read about, but there was a whole list of Republicans, a lot of whom have dropped out of the race now, and there was the only woman, and one of the things that she was saying was that, you know, if she ran, her sort of platform, if you like, was that against Hillary Clinton, that Hillary couldn't use the gender card. She couldn't throw up the gender card if she was facing another female. And I thought, yeah, what a shame she's not still running, you know. It would have been awesome to see that, because you know, so it doesn't matter whether, as I say, whether you're male, female, young, old, nothing actually matters. It's just what's in your heart, and you've got this huge passion to share. And I think the thing is that it doesn't actually matter if people get it, because one day somebody's going to listen to this program, or read something that I've put out, or read something that you've put out, and they'll get it, and it'll be like, oh my God. But in the meantime, we just have to share. We just have to do what we're doing.
And it's so beautiful, Adrienne. I really enjoy our great conversations. And I know our listeners do as well. Even perhaps now is not the right time for them to listen live, but at least when they wake up, if it's night where they are, or if it's the busy daytime, so it's there. It's like we put a seed, knowing that in order to grow, the seed needs to be dropped in a dirt.
Yes.
And cover in layers of compost and darkness, and then the seed have to take that struggle and just come out into above everything, into the light. Yes. And this is what we do. We put out the seed, and we don't know if the seed is going to decide to survive and leave the comfort zone. And because each time, basically, as you are growing as a seed, you are always going to be in the magic zone, way below or above your comfort zone. So what I'm trying to say is that these conversations are the seed. And if somebody wants to take this seed to put in their mind in order to grow, they need to drop all pretenses and just realize and face it. I have to go through the process. I have to repolish myself. I have to read more books. I have to listen to more programs. I have to join more conversation. I have to be more outspoken. I have to be more myself, even if that will bring criticisms from old friends or whatever it is that you expose yourself to. It's worth it.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that struggle to reach out for the light is the most important gift of life. Absolutely. That desire to be more is what makes you human.
Exactly. And it's funny, isn't it? We're talking about zones. We've talked about the comfort zone. We're talking about the comfort zone. You're talking about the magic zone, which is outside the comfort zone. And my program, my website is called the Awareness Zone. So
it's so beautiful. And we are calling you our magic awareness coach.
But that's the thing. It's being aware, and it's knowing, and it's knowing that we are all works in progress, that we can only do our very best each day. And as long as we can do that, then we can go to bed at night and we can, pat ourselves on the back and say, awesome, today was a wonderful day. Tomorrow's going to be even better, because each day we're learning. We're like little kids, and each day you learn something new, and you can use that and start bringing it in. And this seed, there's a wonderful, I don't know what you'd call it, story that Jim Rohn does about the sower and the seed, and I love it. And I'm not going to, but everybody should look it up. His name Jim Rohn, the story of the sower and the seed, and it's just awesome. And it's how somebody plants a seed and they expect it to grow immediately, and it doesn't. And then they just go, oh well, that's no good. Then I'll stop. And he said, and then the next seed they grow, it's really, really sunny and it's too hot for and as the little sort of plant sort of starts growing, the sun gets to it and it just dies. And then there's a bit where he goes, and the birds got them, and it's so funny. You should really try and listen to it. It's awesome. And he talks about, so the sower has sown more seeds, and the birds have got them all. And so then he has to plant more seeds. So, you know, most times we plant seeds, we plant these seeds, and they fall on fallow ground and nothing happens. But you can't just stop and go, oh, well, that's it. You know, I'm not going to do anything else. You have to just keep going and say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to plant some more seeds and see, you know, and eventually in the Jim Rohn story, and eventually for you, me, and everybody else, eventually those seeds will start growing into wonderful plants and vegetation and all sorts of awesome things, and it will become our lives. And so, and it will happen, but the only time that anybody fails is when you quit. So you can't quit. You just have to keep going, and you have to say, okay, I tried it this way, I'll try something else, I'll try it a different way. Because, you know, they say that the secret of, you know, I don't know if it's a secret, but insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So
I love the how gentle you explain that picking yourself up and being open to the next unknown step, and taking us into this remarkable mystery of me time. I love it, Adrienne. And but coming back to what you said, it's as if you would say to yourself, I only live once, which is not true, because you live every day.
Yeah.
But instead of saying I only die once, you know, it's you don't want to die every day. So it's all about, it's not semantics, it's all about the outcome, living with the end in mind, and thinking, actually, what is all this struggle for? What is that I want? At the end of the day, I can decide what I want. And the only obstacle, the true obstacle, is myself, because I don't want to step into my me time. I don't want to step outside the comfort zone and enter the magic zone. So all these, you know, moments of solitude when you think of what is that you want are precious, and they all should bring you to the place, to a beautiful place, to a good place, where you see that you actually live every single day, and you decide how you live that day. You know, it's nobody to decide for you. And yeah, it's a big commitment to decide for yourself. But guess what? If you don't decide, somebody else is going to make that decision.
Absolutely,
for sure,
absolutely.
is not going to work to your advantage. So yes, thank you for pointing that out. That was really, really beautiful. Thank you, Adrienne. Over to you.
But it's true, isn't it? Because like in my case with this horrible job that I had, in the end the decision was taken away from me and I was made redundant. And you know, and sometimes, you know, if you're in a bad relationship, that situation, you know, you might not want to change it, but something will happen. And so whatever situation you're in at the moment, whether it's, as I say, good or bad, if it's good, then you want it to be better. If it's bad, then you want to get out of it. And you need to be moving towards what you really want. So you have to listen, as you said, Marina, it's knowing what you want, but letting the outcome sort of go, because if you hold it in, it's like telling the sat nav exactly the way to go, and it's not your job to tell the sat nav. Sat nav has to tell you. And I believe, you know, that's the sat nav for me is the universe, and the universe tells me, I know, I get this, you know, and I think a lot of people do. I know when things aren't right, because, you know, I literally get this gut instinct. I get this feeling in my stomach that goes, uh-oh, this isn't right. And I feel uncomfortable. And there have been situations in my life where I've made a decision and I've thought this isn't right. This is wrong because I don't feel good about this. And so, my mother used to say, if in doubt, don't. And I think that's an absolutely perfect thing, because if you're in a situation and you're just like, shall I take this? Shall I stay in this job? Shall I do this? Shall I do that? And if you don't feel right about it, then you shouldn't do it, because nobody wants you to be out there doing stuff that you don't want to do. Life is meant to be a celebration. It's not meant to be a struggle. And if things don't feel good for you, then you have to listen to the universe and say, what's the universe telling me? Is it telling me to get out of this relationship? Is it telling me to get out of this job? Is it telling me that perhaps things aren't right with my partner, and that I have to look at ways to help him, her, whoever? And maybe that's the problem. Maybe I'm just working too hard. Maybe I really hate this job, or maybe it's not the job. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's time to move on. And you've got to be honest with yourself. And the only way I believe you can do that is by literally taking a step back and listening. Because we have this, 19 to the dozen, blah, blah, going on in our head all day long, all this chatter, this mind chatter that goes on and on and on, and we don't stop and take a breath and go, I just need to listen. What do I really want? Write down what you really want to do. What makes your heart sing? What do you really, really want to do? And then try and work towards it. Every little day, try and every day take another little step towards it. Baby steps. You can't jump sort of straight away. It's not a bungee jump. It's a gentle sort of, and say to the universe, okay, this is what I want, and I want some guidance. I don't know how to do all this on my own. I need some help here. I've been stuck in this job, this marriage, this body for whatever, I'm really having problems. I need some help. And the only way you get help is by listening to what the universe is telling you. And the only time you can actually hear anything is when you quieten your mind. And you have to quieten your mind, because otherwise it's like the ego takes over and goes, oh no, I know exactly what to do. I have to do this, I have to do that. And you go off on a tangent, and you find it's like the sat nav thing. You're lost, you're late, you're stressed, and you're in a worse state than you were before. So take a breath, breathe, and just listen to what your heart really tells you it wants. And that way you can move gradually towards your heart's desires. But you have to start off by getting out of your comfort zone.
Yes, and it's true that it's hard to live in a comfort zone, which is very uncomfortable anyway. And it's hard to take that leap of faith and be adventurous. Yeah. But they're both hard. So which one is worth it? I mean, which one do you think you deserve? Somebody was telling me that was very interesting, actually, what she said. I try to remember exactly the wording. I might not get it right, but anyway, so the whole idea was that so many people are like tiptoeing through life. They're afraid to awake the neighbors or the demons, or I don't know. And they arrive safely to the day when they die. But if you really want to feel you are alive, you have to start jumping and make some noise and step with confidence into what you know is unknown. And it's true that you are all by yourself, but guess what? The chances are you'll meet people, like-minded people, and they will inspire you, and you realize that you got it all. What you were missing, actually, which was inspiration. So it's nothing that you don't know. It's just you don't know how much you know, and you don't understand what you can do with what you know. So being a little bit more adventurous, being ready to be challenged and not to be so right about everything, and
Yeah,
just allow yourself to get it wrong time to time, and because there is no losing, it's only winning or learning. In my own experience, there is no such thing like losing.
exactly.
That doesn't matter what you think you lost, you gain a lot more. So if you master, if you um, you, to master the me time and jump out, almost like jumping through the window from the comfort zone, from the 99th floor of that building, you have to learn to love it. You have to be passionate about what you don't know. so I think it's almost to do with behind the, so it's almost like the pillow talk, like what you tell yourself is what you get. So if, for instance, you are in bed with somebody and you tell each other nice words, you'll have a great day tomorrow. It's the same when you are all by yourself. So romance yourself a little bit, discover who you are, empower yourself with what you already got, and just have the desire to master who you are.
Exactly. And I love that. I love that analogy of the pillow talk. It's talking to yourself, it's romancing yourself. But and we've said this before, sometimes for people it's they have this huge burning desire to change, to get out of their comfort zone, to move on, but they don't know how to start. And I think that's where you and I come in, and other people like us who can help people, just show them just the first steps, how they can take those first steps. Because sometimes all you need, it's like somebody saying, it's like when for a child on on a bike for the first time, and you go, yeah, you're doing really well, and you just need somebody to say, yeah, that's exactly right, you're doing the right thing. That's what you need. And you need somebody like that, somebody who is dispassionate, and somebody who isn't because let's face it, people, our nearest and dearest, have their own hidden agendas. And so when you have a mentor, that person will be in your corner, will be rooting for you, but has no emotional baggage to bring to the outcome. They just want the best for you, and they'll believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. When you see somebody, I'm sure you know it, and I certainly do it, when you're with a client and when you speak to that client and that client tells you what they've done and their triumphs, their successes, and you're like a parent, and you go, oh my god, I'm so proud of you, and they tell you things. I have one client, and she's going through an awful lot of stuff at the moment, and she said to me, she said, you'd be so proud of me, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. And I said, oh my god, yeah, I really am. I am so proud of you. You're doing really, really good. And that's what she needs. She needs me to sort of, so she can keep believing in herself, because she doesn't believe in herself at the moment, because there's so much rubbish going on in her life. And that's what happens. And it's very, very difficult to take a step back and be able to see yourself objectively, what's good, what's bad, what needs throwing out, and what needs keeping. Because if you've got no concept of what you and I are talking about, and you just listen and you go, well, how do I start? What do I do first? I don't want to be in this relationship, I don't want to be in this job, but I want to get healthier, but how do I start? What do I do? And so I think for some people it's not, we use a lot of buzzwords, and people are like, I'm too confused, I don't get it. How do I go from where I am to where I want to be? Because I'm you know, it's easier for me to stay in my comfort zone. So I'm going to, if that's what it's called, and I'm staying here because I have no idea how to get out of this. And that's when they need help. Just to, you know, it's a little gentle hand holding and a let's look at this and let's take it to the next step, and let's sort of, you know, take off the training wheels, but not yet. Let's, you know, let's see you cycle for a little while before we take off the training wheels. And that way people get the confidence so that they can do it on their own, because that's, after all, that's what we're sharing. You know, we want, I want to help people move on with their lives and show them how they can get out of the comfort zone, get out of the stuck state that they're in, and move forward into a joyous time, however that is, you know. And it is a very brave step to suddenly get out of a relationship that you've been in for 10 years. I know, I've done it. And it's very, very scary. But when you do it and you look back and you think, oh my God, I am so much better now. Out of that job, so much better now. But it takes courage. It takes, you know, you don't want to get to a state where your health is bad, or you're feeling so, you know, you get so depressed or so unhappy about it that your health starts failing, because that's what happens. Stress will make you overeat. It will make you unhealthy. It causes all sorts of diseases. It's dreadful. So you don't want to be in a state of stress. You want to be in a state of calm, because you can only make rational decisions when you're calm. So you need to be able to step back. And if there's too much going on and there's all this mind chatter, you need somebody to help you sort of sort all that out, you know, the jumble that's going on, and say, all right, what's the priority? Where do we go? How do we move forward? What you need to do is X, Y, and Z. And then when you do it, it's like, it, you know, it's like learning to drive. Once you can do it, you go, oh my God, this is so easy. How come I've never done this before? And it is. And then the next time something comes up, and next time you know, an obstacle, and then you get over that hurdle, you think, oh my God. And suddenly you look back and the comfort zone is way, 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 way back. And you're moving forward every single day. And that's the most joyous way of living. But you have to start somewhere. You've got to start by saying, okay, what do I really need? What do I really want to be? What do I really want to do? And as you say, you've got to be before you can do.
This is so powerful, and I'm getting all these messages from our listeners. And I was about to, one of the questions that I've been asked to ask is, I hope you don't hate me for this, but I have to ask. One of the question is, when is last time when you did something for very last time?
When was the last time?
When is the last time when you did something for the very last time? That's a great question. I picked it because I loved it.
Wow, when was the last time I did something for the very last time? Ooh, that really takes thinking about. I'm not sure, to be honest. Probably a little while ago, I would think. Yeah, I can't really. Wow, that's really put me on the spot. I'm not embarrassed about it. I just can't think of anything. Isn't that strange? I probably think of loads later, but I can't think of anything at the moment. When was the last time I did something for the very last time? Wow. I'm going to have to think about that one and come back to you.
Yeah, so I can answer. Let me think. When is the last time when I did something for the very last time? Yes, so I think last week I took sugar for very last time.
Okay.
I think when I read your blog on the awarenesszone.co.uk about the magic potion the mixture of coconut oil and vanilla and cinnamon and manuka. I'm a manuka lover now. I joined the club, and I don't use oil anymore. I just use coconut oil. So if I don't have it, I don't have it. You know, so these are things. And then when I did something for a very last time is when I allowed somebody to tell me off. And I told myself, this is 3 years ago, I told myself that I will never, I will fight, I will stand up, I will believe in myself. And that was the very last time, and it was the very last time, and changed my life. And it was very uncomfortable because I had so much respect for that person, but they had no respect for me. So now they keep me in great esteem, which doesn't really matter that much, because that wasn't the purpose. To me was, if I don't stand up, they will do the same to other people.
Yep.
So I didn't want that, you know, to be like the standard. So I thought it's a very sad world if we all accept that just because they think it's normal. So yeah. So then the other question, Adrienne, maybe you could answer this one. When is last time when you did something for very first time?
Oh, okay. When was the last time I did something for the very first time? Ew. What have I been doing? I think when I also with the potion, the magic potion, and
Yes.
it's really funny because somebody had said to me that raw honey was better than manuka.
Okay.
And so I bought some raw honey, and I did the and in fact I did it before we spoke, and I put some with the, you know, with the coconut oil and everything else, and the vanilla and the and everything else, and it was too sweet. I know that sounds silly because it's honey, but it was too sweet, and I thought, oh, I've got all this raw honey now, I'm going to have to go and buy some manuka. And I didn't like it. But there you go. You see, you have to do something for the very first time.
So I think it's a question that I'm going to start asking myself all the time, each day, because that will help me be more creative with what I could have and who I could be.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's it's one of our listeners who email me the questions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to thank you from both of us, and I don't know if she's satisfied with the answers, but in any case, as we said a few times already, when the most beautiful part of teaching is learning, because you learn from your students, from your clients, and there's a lot to learn from each one of our listeners. So please send us your questions, join our conversation, and let's make some noise. Let's wake up some demons. Let's stop tiptoeing around taboo subjects and see what happens next. I'm all open for it.
Yeah, me too. And in fact, I haven't done it yet, but on Saturday I out to to Spain, and I'm going to be teaching English to Spaniards for a week. So
Oh,
that's
wonderful.
going to
How
be
exciting.
that's going to be something that I've never ever done before. So that's going to be really interesting.
Oh
So,
my God, there's a lot to hear then. I can't wait.
yeah, when I come back, I'll tell you all about it. But yes, so that's very exciting.
So for sure, that's something, as you said, you never done
Never done
before.
before.
And
No,
if you were to stay in your comfortable home, enjoying the daffodils and the blue sky, which is perhaps all around you now, you would not have that experience. You won't be pushed outside your comfort zone, and you
absolutely.
won't touch the magic. So congratulations on your decision to help other people, total strangers, and step out of your comfort zone once more.
Exactly.
This is brilliant, Adrienne. You are such an inspiration, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, I have to raise to the challenge now.
No, you do so much anyway. No, you don't have to race to the challenge.
So each time you take a risk or you move out of your comfort zone, be sure that is a great opportunity. That challenge, which your mind might tell you, oh, be careful. It's the lazy mind. It's not your brave mind. It's not your adventurous mind. So
All
so allow
it is,
your ability to master your yourself and master the power of who you are and use your powers to the fullness.
absolutely. And all it is your thermostat keeping you safe. It just wants to keep you on an even keel. So just ignore it and say, you know what, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do something different.
This is so beautiful, Adrienne Marks. Thank you so much. And I'm sure when our listeners go to www.theawarenesszone.co.uk, they will be in for a treat. And the Me Time strategy session is awaiting for them. So please go on, sign up now, and Adrienne is going to share a great quality time with you, and hopefully we'll have you to join our great conversation next Thursday. Till then, from me and Adrienne is goodbye, and stay in your me time. Leave your comfort zone. Over to you, Adrienne.
Okay, well, thank you, Marina. And as always, it's been a delight. And I'm definitely going to be looking at ways to get out of my comfort zone and to do things that I've never done before for the first time over the next week. And I am so looking forward to it, and a bit nervous as well because I'm going to be meeting all sorts of new people. But yeah, the comfort zone needs to be just sort of dissolved. Let's get out there and let's show the world what we can do. Really.
Till next time, is goodbye.
Bye bye.